They come from around the corner and just went to shoot.
When the bullets started flying on this Central City street,
I thought the boys was on the neutral ground just popping fireworks, you know.
Witnesses say the shots seemed to be coming from every direction.
It was in around this whole block like they were just shooting, you know.
Within minutes, in broad daylight, 5 people were hit, including 6-year-old Brianna Allen and her 8-year-old cousin, who was celebrating his birthday.
When Bree got hit, she was on the porch running up the steps.
Oh, okay.
You think she was trying to get away from it because she could hear it?
Everybody fell out. Everybody. My mom, he must fell out. Everybody fell out. He must my mama. They was all on top of each other.
Esther Allen couldn't believe her eyes.
My little grandbaby was on top of my leg. And when I looked around, I saw the guts coming out of her stomach. I said, oh, Lord, have mercy, Jesus.
Another victim, 19 years old, actually ran for cover inside Gust Homes, a senior citizen housing complex. But the bloodshed didn't stop there. A block away, 2 more victims, including a 25-year-old woman driving this car down Simon Bolivar.
I saw this gray car slam into that white truck over there, and then it just careened off and crashed into the house.
That driver died at the hospital. A 5th victim, a 24-year-old man, was also rushed to the hospital. People in the neighborhood say they know what's behind the brazen attack.
But they from the St. Thomas. It was 3 of them. One with a hat, one with dreadlocks, and they got another witness down there. And they beefing with the male for me. It ain't our people.
New Orleans Police Chief Ronald Surpass says that's one of the leads detectives are following.
We have groups of young men who are associating with one another, not in a typical gang behavior, but in behavior that's very dangerous and reckless. And that's what this behavior today was, dangerous and reckless. We're following up on all the leads of who may or may not be involved. But again, I can't say they're strong enough. Cowardice will be overcome by the will of the people of New Orleans, and that's what we need right now.
Along Simon Bolivar, the shock of the bloodshed Tuesday is still setting in.
No! No!
Relatives of 5-year-old Brianna Allen had just celebrated her graduation from kindergarten. Now they're planning the little girl's funeral.
She was so pretty. She was so pretty, God.
Brianna was one of 5 people shot when 3 gunmen sprayed bullets into a crowd gathered for her cousin's birthday party.
They just started shooting. Then when everybody just started running.
That's about all Kennard Allen remembers about his 10th birthday.
My baby ran inside. I was like, Mom, I'm hit. I'm hit. I'm like, you not hit? He was like, Mom, I'm hit. Then my friend was like, look at his neck. He bleeding from his neck. And he had a hole in his neck. He was like, Mama, please just get me from around here.
He's now home from the hospital with a bullet wound to his leg and a graze wound to his neck. While mourning the loss of Brianna, his family knows their pain could have been doubled in an instant.
I'm thanking God, yes, because if that bullet would have hit him 1 more inch, he would not be here.
If Shawana Pierce hadn't taken a shortcut down Simon Bolivar, she may still be alive.
The rental car place closed at 6. She was trying to get to Enterprise before 6. That's all she was doing.
Now her 3 young sons are without a mom. Shawana was driving this car when a stray bullet traveled more than a block.
As she was making a left turn on Simon Bolivar, a stray bullet just struck her right here in her mouth, and I think it went up into her eye and her brain.
Shawana died just hours after watching her oldest son graduate from 3rd grade. For her family, it's beyond comprehension how someone with so much to live for could have their life cut so tragically short.
They stole her. They killed my sister for nothing.
These little young boys today, they're just ignorant. They don't care who they shoot. They don't have no concern for the elderly, the children, or nothing.
A sobering reality on the streets of New Orleans, with one hail of gunfire leaving so many lives forever changed.
The grapefruit-sized bullet hole testifies to the firepower that took the life of 5-year-old Brianna Allen just 5 feet away.
Give yourself up, because that was a child. Y'all got a conscience. Y'all have children. Y'all sisters have children. We need y'all just be a man about it.
Brianna and 33-year-old Shawana Pierce were killed, 3 others wounded in a neighborhood where many say there were few police that afternoon.
The police circling this block, surrounding, doing their little routine. Yesterday, nothing.
While the NOPD says overall murder is down in the 6th District, a source tells Fox 8 serious crimes were way up in the past 24 hours.
We're broke, the state's broke, and I just came back from D.C. and I met with the crime subcommittee. There's no help on the horizon.
The police department has tried a laundry list of approaches: the 65-point plan, Save Our Sons, the Milwaukee model, Cease Fire, the Interrupters, Mission 1, Mission 2, and now NOLA for Life. And the murders continue.
In the mayor's program, there's some good, solid police practices, and there's a lot of political sop.
But Tulane's Dr. Peter Scharf says more social programs are needed for any of these programs to work.
You can't have 100,000 people going to a football game and 5-year-old babies getting killed. It doesn't wash. You've got to finance this.
I want somebody to show me some action.
Al Mims has been campaigning to stop the violence since the murder of his own father 25 years ago. We caught up with him in front of another murder victim's funeral on MLK.
What happens is, once the baby's in the casket in the ground, we go back to the same old.
These funerals in Central City have been far too frequent for many people who say, forget about the political repercussions, it's time to put more boots on the ground. Murder victims' family members, too scared to be identified, favor more National Guard patrols.
I would like to see the military come down here and take over.
But that's not going to happen. The legislature has killed a bill calling for the National Guard to come into the city, leaving police outmanned and outgunned.
And they don't carry AK-47. They might have a 40 on their side and some pepper spray.
We're going to hit a meltdown. We're losing 120 cops, and you're losing a bunch of sergeants and lieutenants. And we just had a class of 30.
And Scharf says police strength is only one part of the equation.
Come on, you gotta hold up.
It's time for everyone to just pull together. You know, God trying to show us something.
Put 2 hands on the casket, lift it up a little.
A small casket with a picture of a princess on top. A final tribute to Breonna Allen.
Beautiful little girl. Beautiful princess. You know, that was her model. Little princess.
Hundreds said a final goodbye to the sparkling spirit who just graduated from kindergarten. The New Hope Baptist Church overflowing, just blocks away from the place Breonna was killed by gunfire.
We heard gunshots, but we thought it was balloon. We thought it was actually balloon. She had my leg tight. Blood stayed on my leg for 3 days. I refused to wipe it out.
And I have 5 grandchildren and 1 on the way. And so this really touched home.
Yeah, it's a wake-up call for everyone because, you know, things is not right. Things is not going right down here. And killing children, that's just too much.
City leaders there to pay their respects feel even more urgency to stop the bloodshed.
How do you tell a young man not to pick up an AK-47 and to spray bullets when they have hundreds of people around and 30 people on a porch with a 5-year-old girl?
These cowards who have no care for anyone but themselves take actions against someone that they were angry with, and that's got to stop, and it's going to stop.
A traditional, joyful New Orleans send-off for the preschooler who had so much left to give. But there is little joy for a family in pain, just anger.
Whoever is watching and did this to my grandbaby, I hope they give them the death penalty. They don't need to live, because it's nothing but a baby 5 years old.
They come from around the corner and just went to shoot.
Complete chaos along Simon Bolivar Boulevard.
I thought the boys was on the neutral ground just popping fireworks, you know.
Bullets started flying from what seemed like every direction.
It was in around this whole block, like they were just shooting, you know.
My little grandbaby was on top of my leg. And when I looked around, I saw the guts coming out of her stomach. I said, oh, Lord, have mercy, Jesus.
Gunmen shot and killed 5-year-old Breonna Allen, along with a 33-year-old mother of 3, Shawana Pierce, shot while driving this car when a stray bullet traveled more than a block. 3 others shot, including an 8-year-old boy.
This was an amazingly brazen act. I'm furious about it.
On that hot May afternoon last year, it was an act of unthinkable violence that left even the mayor wondering who could be responsible. Just 24 hours after an intense manhunt began, 18-year-old Leo Riles turned himself in to police.
And in this case, we find another example of a beautiful child killed by the actions of someone who had no right to be on the streets.
It turned out Riles has a criminal history that had him facing jail time just days before the Simon Bolivar shooting. But instead of being locked up, he was allowed to walk.
Why do they get the breaks? Brianna Allen didn't get a break. Why did he get a break?
To find that out, Fox 8 started digging into his criminal history. Less than 4 months after Riles turned 17, police arrested him for criminal trespassing. Riles pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 30 days time served in OPP. 2 months later, Riles has another run-in with the law. This time, police arrested him on 3 felonies: unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, aggravated flight from an officer, and illegal possession of a stolen auto. In court, he pleaded guilty to all counts. Judge Ben Willard of Section C sentenced him to a 3-year suspended sentence, meaning no jail time. Riles was released from OPP in December of 2011, and Judge Willard placed him on probation. The conditions included completing a GED program and providing community service until employment was obtained.
It's a privilege that the judge gives to someone and allows them to not go to jail, but allow them to stay out, to exercise and maintain their freedom. But they have to satisfy certain terms and conditions of the probation.
2 months after Riles was released, the Office of Parole and Probations found that Riles did not comply with his conditions of parole. The probation officer filed a motion in criminal court to have Riles' probation revoked. Fox 8 obtained the court records. According to the motion, Riles never attempted to register with Parole and Probations. And when the probation officer tried to locate him at the address, the motion states the subject failed to provide a valid address to his agent. On May 11th, just about 2.5 weeks before the Simon Bolivar shooting, Riles appeared before Judge Willard for a hearing on whether or not to revoke his probation. Fox 8 obtained a copy of the transcript from that hearing. Riles' attorney tells Judge Willard, "Judge, one of the main things is he attends judge classes." Willard says, "What's your class schedule, Mr. Riles?" Riles answers, 9 to 1, Monday through Friday. Judge Willard wouldn't go on camera about the case, but told me by phone Riles' attorney showed him documentation to prove he was in school. Part of the documentation, a letter written by Sister Liliana Flavin. Sister Flavin works in the Adult Learning Center at Hope House, a nonprofit faith-based organization. She says she remembers Leo Riles when he first showed up there to begin working on his GED.
I guess the guy that I met on that day and while he was here was a person who had a very sweet disposition. Leo is a very gentle young person.
Sister Flavin says when she was around Riles, he never showed signs of being a person capable of allegedly murdering a child.
Whenever I met Leo on the streets, he'd walk away from his group of friends and he would give me a hug. And a big old bear hug at that.
Flavin says she never testified in court to Riles' character, but did write this letter, notifying Judge Willard that Riles was attending the program. According to the transcript, Judge Willard accepted the letter, asked Riles in open court for a new address where the parole officer could reach him, and then released him. With Riles back out on the street, Sister Flavin says he did return to Hope House, but it was a short visit.
He just came back, and again he came in and he gave me this big hug, and I said, "Greatly, I'm so happy to see you," and we talked. And he sat down. Now, he didn't stay very long when he returned at that time, and I'm not so sure what happened with that.
Sister Flavin says she never saw Riles again.
Today was a really, really tough day for the city of New Orleans.
About a week and a half later, she remembers seeing the news.
It seemed like it was just something so kind of crazy, and you know, it didn't seem that this child was targeted, or maybe that anybody in this group was targeted, and then to realize that a young child had been killed. I mean, I was devastated.
The next morning, Sister Flavin returned to work.
One of the Hope House staff said to me, Leo Riles was looking for you. And I said, oh, so where is he? And she said that he left, but she said he looked worried.
Riles turned himself in to police and was booked on 2 counts of first-degree murder.
I just couldn't believe it, honey. This is not the guy that I know.
Since the murder arrest, Judge Willard did revoke his probation. Now he faces possible life in prison if convicted. DA Leon Canizero couldn't speak specifically about the Riles case, but points out giving a person probation isn't a bad thing. At the same time, he says there's a reason why revoking that probation sometimes is necessary.
You want to give a person an opportunity. You want to give them a chance. But probation has got to be meaningful. And there's got to be some teeth in the probation in the event that the person does not live up to the terms and conditions of that probation. That, to me, is important.
Probation and parole is a valuable tool to help people who need a break. The people of New Orleans need a break.
Chief Ronald Serpez says his officers often arrest the same person over and over, who have gone through the criminal justice system and become repeat offenders. Many times those people are on probation, and he believes judges should revoke them if any condition of that probation is not followed.
I think the minute someone doesn't do what they said they would do, because otherwise you're supposed to be in jail to begin with. I mean, for me, it's a no-brainer.
In the case of Leo Riles, Serpez isn't holding back.
Disgusted. It's disgusting. You know, it's absolutely amazing that young people have so little respect for the system. And that comes from growing up without respect for any systems. And, you know, I get all that, you know, right? I'm a teenage parent, I've heard all that stuff, and I understand it. What I don't understand is when a judge says to you, son, I'm gonna not put you in jail if you just agree to tell us where you live. How about just do that? And Leo couldn't even do that.